I've spent my entire life hiding. Not just emotionally, but physically. Growing up, I knew I was different. My parents called me special, but what they really meant was a mistake. I was born with both male and female genitalia. I mean a well-developed penis and vagina. Yes, you heard right. This is a secret my mother begged me to never share. People won't understand, she warned. They'll hurt you. So I became a master of deception. I dressed the way they wanted, spoke the way they expected, and never let anyone get too close. But then I met Ryan. And for the first time in my life, I wanted to be seen. Ryan was perfect. The kind of guy that could make any girl melt. Charming, protective, completely obsessed with me. And I fell hard. We met at a coffee shop when he accidentally spilled his drink on me. I should have been annoyed. But when he smiled, I forgot all about my ruined shirt. I owe you a drink. And a proper date, he said. And just like that, I was his. For months, I lived in a dream. Romantic weekends, passionate kisses, endless texts saying he missed me. He made me feel like the most desirable woman in the world. But in the back of my mind, a dark voice whispered, "What happens when he finds out the truth?" I always found ways to avoid intimacy. "Let's wait," I'd say. "I want it to be special." Ryan never pressured me, until one night he did. We were in his apartment, the city lights casting a soft glow through the window. His lips trailed my neck, his hands exploring, his breath hot against my skin. "I love you," he whispered. And just like that, panic set in. I pulled away, shaking. "Ryan, wait. I have to tell you something." His brows furrowed. "What is it, baby?" My throat tightened. "Say it. Just say it." But before I could, his hands were already pulling at my clothes, and in a single moment, the truth was exposed. He saw what I have been hiding all my life. My penis, as well as my vagina, directly underneath it. At first there was silence. A deep, horrible silence. Ryan's face twisted in confusion. Then shock. Then something I'll never forget. Disgust. "What the f—" He stumbled back like I had burned him. "What the hell is this?" Tears welled in my eyes. "Ryan, please, just let me explain." He was already standing, pacing like a man who just woke up in a nightmare. "Explain what exactly? That you've been lying to me this whole time?" I reached for him. "I didn't lie. I was just scared. I love you." He recoiled, like my touch was poison. His rage turned ice cold. "I don't even know what the hell you are." My heart shattered. I had feared rejection. But this was worse. He grabbed his keys. "I need to think." And then he left. I spent the entire night crying, staring at my phone, praying for a text that never came. By morning, my worst fears were confirmed. Ryan had told everyone. I woke up to messages from friends, acquaintances, even strangers. Some were curious. Some were cruel. Most were horrifying. One text stood out the most. "You freak. You should have told him before letting him fall for you." It was from my best friend. I threw up. I had spent my life hiding to protect myself. But the moment I let someone in, I was exposed in the worst way possible. For weeks, I barely left my apartment. I quit my job, deactivated my socials, and disappeared. But then, something inside me snapped. Ryan had taken my secret and made it entertainment. He had turned me into a scandal. So I decided to give him one. I sat down, opened my laptop, and typed out my truth. The real story. Every word of love, every promise, every kiss he gave me before throwing me away like trash. I posted it everywhere, and within hours, it went viral. People started turning on Ryan, calling him a coward, a liar, a monster, the same way he exposed me. I had exposed him. It took time, but I healed. And I realized something. I spent my life thinking my body was a curse, that I had to hide to survive. But the real curse? Letting fear control me. Ryan was never my happy ending. I was. And now, the world knows my story, and I am no longer afraid. I used to think my biggest fear was being exposed, that if people knew my secret, they'd destroy me. But the truth is, I was never the problem. The problem was a world that feared what it didn't understand, a world that tried to shame me into silence. But silence is over. Because here's the thing about secrets. Once they're out, they can't be used against you anymore. And now, I own my truth. And that's something no one, not Ryan, not my so-called friends, not society, can ever take from me again. For weeks, I stayed in the shadows, drowning in humiliation. I thought Ryan had destroyed me, that the whispers, the betrayal, and the cruel words would define me forever. But then I realized something. Ryan didn't ruin my life. He freed me. For the first time, my secret was no longer a burden. It was a weapon. And I had two choices. Let it break me or let it build me. So I chose power. I told my story on my terms. I stood tall, even as the world tried to tear me down. And in doing so, I discovered something unexpected. I wasn't alone. People who had been hiding their own truths reached out to me. Strangers became allies. The same shame that once caged me, it became my greatest strength. Because here's the thing about the truth. When you own it, no one can use it against you. If you've ever felt like you had to hide to be loved, like your truth would make you unworthy, listen to me carefully. You are not unlovable. You are not a mistake. You are not too much or not enough. You are exactly who you are meant to be. And if someone can't handle your truth, that's their weakness, not yours. Because the right people, the ones who truly deserve you, won't run. They'll stay. They'll love you louder. They'll see the real you and never flinch. I thought Ryan's betrayal would destroy me. Instead, it rebuilt me. And now, I walk through the fire, unburned,